Hello, and you're very welcome to our coverage of the 72nd FAI Hot Lager Cup Final between Dundalk and Shelbourne, a match that promises so much in a year when the extended League of Ireland season has been one of the great talking points in this sporting year. Well, the atmosphere at Lansdowne Road is really building up as the fans begin to arrive in the black and white of Dundalk and in the red and white of Shelbourne to add their colour to what we expect to be an exciting occasion this afternoon. Well, with me to discuss the game, we've got Brian Kerr, the manager of St Patrick's Athletic, and Roy Coyle, the manager of Derry City. We'll be getting their views on this intriguing game shortly. But first, let's remind you how these sides made it to Lansdowne Road. George Hamilton reports on the paths to the final, starting with Dundalk.
First stop was the Ivy Grounds, where 2 goals from Peter Hanrahan put them into a tie with Bohemians. Scoreless at Oriel, there followed a cup classic. O'Connor gave Bowes the first half lead, Evanston secured equality soon after the interval, and then the cork really popped. Alan Byrne was dismissed by the Donegal referee Wilf Wallace for that foul on Gino Lawless, and Dundalk were able to take command. An inanimate defence leaked the lead goal to Lawless from Lawler's Gary Owen. And then the former Bohemian Evanston turned tormentor. Irwin's was the effort, and McNulty the snapper up of this little trifle. The sending off of Purdy, the concession of a late goal to Tilson, were but minor undulations on the road. Smooth passage secured by Hanrahan, seizing on the combined embarrassment of Henderson and Best. Back home again for Limerick, for an opposing face, that of John Grace, took on the colour of the referee's card. The shot came from Wayne Cooney. The goal, with Grace's assistance, was from Brian Irwin. It was by no means all Dundalk, but late in the day came the goal that clinched their place in the semi-final. It was created by Brian Irwin and Wayne Cooney, and completed by the experienced head of Terry Evanston. By now, it looked like the draw was on the side of Dundalk, but what they got out of this was another home tie against St Patrick's Athletic, and a single goal was decisive. It was Hanrahan and then McNulty making the ground. Hanrahan pushed wide, Kelch was covering, and a corner resulted. And a fine one it turned out to be. Launched by Cooney, straight to the head of the towering Lawler. A family final tradition maintained by Big Martin. They're on their way to Lansdowne. The 1990 winners provided stiff opposition in the first game at least. The second half hat-trick by Mark Rutherford laid the foundations for a comprehensive victory completed by Anto Whelan's goal. Same again at the second round, though the scoreless draw was at Tulka. It took a performance of compelling persistence at Bishopstown to send Shells through. Buckley broke the deadlock, but then the Dubs took command. Again, it was Mark Rutherford with an important cup goal. It was extra time, though, before the issue was settled. Tired limbs, an unforced error, and Paul Doolan there to punish. Non-league opposition in the quarter-final. Home advantage ceded by Glenmore Celtic. Not the only thing the Southside Dubliners gave up on the day. This was the first of another cup hat-trick. Gary Haylock's, as early as the 6th minute. When he'd completed his celebrations, Pádraig Dully began another round. 2 goals in the 15 minutes he was on the pitch. This one for 5-0. 6-0 was the final score. Shells then wrapped up their hat-trick of no-score draws, and, as against Cork, were forced to do it the hard way, in Derry. But what a match this turned out to be. Just a quarter of an hour gone and the would-be finalists were behind. Gould's free kick, Carlisle's finish. What a flourish. But anything they could do, Shelbourne could match. Mick Neville's shot rebounding from Curran. Anto Whelan did the necessary. Just before half-time, Shelbourne edged ahead. O'Doherty and Dully creating the chance for Haylock. And he fairly fired them in front. For once then, Shells got it wrong. Neville and Whelan opened the door. And Mark Ennis escaped with the equaliser. But cup ties are meant to be won with a dash of drama, and it was duly provided. Ken O'Doherty with the shot. Save from O'Neill. Then Dully laying it on for Haylock. And another fabulous goal to send Shelves to the decider for the first time in 18 years.
Very impressive goal indeed, and let's join our studio guest now for expert analysis on this particular match. Brian Kerr, you were beaten yet again in the semi-final. You're telling me actually that you're fed up of being available on cup final day as an expert analyst.
Well, that seems to be the case at the moment, but our day will come, I'm sure, Bill, but I'd much rather be there involved in the game than
Okay,
here.
well, how good are Dundalk then?
Well, they're a very strong physical side. Well, I think we've two of the best sides in the league today. Dundalk only finished a point behind the top three, and we should see some very exciting football. Both teams have some very, very skillful players, particularly Mark Rutherford, Peter Hanrahan, Paul Doolan, I think, could be very influential on the game. And Gary Haylock, you saw some of Gary Haylock's goals there. I think he could be...
Super goals, weren't they?
Fantastic goals, and he's well capable of coming up with something like that today, which could win the match for Shelbourne.
Okay, you were at the receiving end, Roy Coyle, of Shelbourne's strength. How do you assess them?
Yes, it wasn't enjoyable watching that, so it wasn't.
Painful memories, were they?
Very, very painful, yes. No, Shelbourne are a very, very good side indeed, there's no question about that. As Brian pointed out, they've some very, very useful players. Certainly the people he mentioned, like Haylock, Rutherford, Doolan, they're very influential players of the team, and Shelbourne rely on them an awful lot because they make things tick and they make things happen. And Dundalk as well. There's one player that Brian didn't mention that I have a lot of time for. I think he's a very, very good player. Scores a lot of goals for Dundalk, and that's Tom McNulty. He comes from very deep areas, and he's very hard to pick up, and he scores a lot of vital goals for them.
Okay, now much has been made of the fact that Shelbourne are being tremendously active. Dundalk have been inactive, in fact, for practically a month. How much is that going to influence the game, do you reckon?
Well, I think it has to count today. A month, I'd have loved to have a month at some stage of the season to get everybody really fit again and rested the fellas who have little knocks and niggles. I think that Dundalk will be the better of that. I think Shelbourne have had a very, very difficult season. I think they're up nearly at 60 games now, and that could well tell in the later stages of the game. But equally, I feel, if Shelbourne get ahead today and get on the roll, I think they'll win the game.
Yeah, beforehand when we were talking, you didn't kind of subscribe to that view. You felt that Shelbourne actually would be very strong today, didn't you?
Yes, I take a different line than Brian. I wouldn't like to have gone a month without playing football, especially competitive. I know they've played a couple of
They've played three
games,
friendlies, yeah.
but they're not competitive games, and you know, to go 4 weeks without a really competitive game, I think that Shelbourne will have the match fitness, and not only that, I think they'll be mentally prepared for it, where Dundalk haven't had any mental preparation at all.
How much, though, are they going to be affected by the fact that Dundalk have met them 4 times this season and beaten them 3 times? Surely the psychological advantage is to Dundalk, isn't it?
Well, equally, on the one occasion that Shelbourne won, they won very convincingly 4-1. I was at the game, and they could have won 6 or 7-1.
Yeah, but they lost the other 3, didn't
they lost the other 3, but the last one was quite close to the end of the season. There was very little in it. Shelbourne could have sneaked the game. Dundalk won with a very, very good goal early on from Brian Irwin and hung on to it a bit. But today, if Everston hits a bit of form around the goal, or Irwin, Peter Hanrahan, they're the key players for Dundalk in an attacking sense. It's how their defence handles the players already mentioned, Shelbourne players that Roy mentioned, Rutherford, Haylock, Doolan making runs from midfield. It's how Dundalk deal with that is going to be the key point.
And how will they deal with it, do you reckon?
Well,
teams are coming out, I gather, so we'll cut over to Lansdowne Road to watch the teams coming out. We'll continue our conversation here in the studio. How will Dundalk cope, do you reckon?
Well, obviously, early on, there'll be a lot of man-to-man marking, and people will be detailed a few jobs to do. Certainly, they'll get tight on Mark Rutherford. He has got very, very good pace in the wide areas. I think you'll find that there'll probably be cover on him. They'll have the wide midfield player marking him with the...
I saw, though, sorry for cutting across, I saw one of the assessments in the paper made the point that he can be intimidated out of a game by a tough defender. Is that a fact?
Well, he'll certainly know today because of a few Dundalk guys.
I wouldn't accept that. I think he's a very brave lad. He jumps very well. He heads the ball well for a winger. Last Saturday night against Bohemians, he got about 6 kicks in the match where he was down. He just got up and played on, and played very, very well. I wouldn't accept that. And equally, on that side of the pitch that he plays on, Dundalk have Peter Hanrahan playing, who is a key attacking player for them. I don't think they'll want him to spend the game marking Mark Rutherford.
Yeah, right.
I think they'll want to get him up in the box.
Okay, before we get into your assessment of how it will go finally, much was made of the fact that this is a game of contrast. It's two very contrasting styles. What is the essence of that contrast?
Well, for a start, Dundalk are defensively they're probably one of the best teams in the country. They give very, very little away. They suck you in and they hit you very quickly on the break with people like McNulty. Where Shelbourne, they're more of an offensive team. They like to get players forward quickly. And they've also got a tremendous asset in Mick Neville, where he hits a 60-yard ball and gets you turned and makes you defend very, very deep. So it's going to be a very, very good game. I'm going for Shelbourne.
You go for Shelbourne. Brian?
I'd go for Dundalk without any great sense of belief in my judgment. I think this could be the tightest one we've had for a long, long time. There's very little between these two teams.
Is it going to be a good game, do you reckon?
I would think so. With Shelbourne in it, they will build it up quite slowly and pass the ball around. I'm just a little bit worried that they might play Ken O'Doherty in the middle of the field today, and that's a sign they're going for a little bit more caution than I'd like to see.
All right, okay. So at the end of the day, you say Dundalk, you say Shelbourne. Even Stephen, let's go to George Hamilton in Lansdowne Road.
Thank you, Bill, and a warm welcome to you on a rather breezy day at Lansdowne Road, but the rain of the last 48 hours has certainly worked wonders with the playing surface. Both managers expressing themselves absolutely delighted with the way things are, and it's all set for what should be an outstanding game between two teams who certainly know how to play. Shelbourne with 51 matches behind them this season, Dundalk with 41 behind them. Therein lies a little bit of a difference, but Dundalk are seasoned campaigners, 7 of their team over 30 years of age. This is the Shelbourne lineup, and there's Paul Doolan, who's won cups both north and south of the border. He had a spell with Portadown, and of course Derry City as well, and Shamrock Rovers. Kevin Brady, another who's tasted success with the hoops. And that on the right is Gary Haylock, the 22-year-old Yorkshireman from Bradford. He came to Shelbourne from Huddersfield Town. He's their joint top scorer on all competitions this season. He's their top scorer in the cup. He's hit 5 on their way to Lansdowne this afternoon. Rings around Lansdowne Road on this most important occasion of the domestic football year, and it's Dundalk against Shelbourne for the FAI Half Lager Cup. Martin Lawler, the latest member of that famous family of Lawlers that began with his dad Kit in the 40s and then went through his brother Mick and his brother Robbie and now himself, and they're all winners in the FAI Cup, and Martin stands on the verge of becoming the only man to win 5 FAI Cup winners' medals with Dundalk. And the Dundalk lineup is the strongest that Turlough O'Connor can send into action here, captained by the durable Scot James Call at centre half, with the vast experience of the oldest man on the pitch, Alan O'Neill, who won his first cup medal in the 70s, in goal, and Terry Eveston, always a thorn in the side of opposing defences. And he will partner Gino Lawless with Peter Hanrahan coming from the deep, and we mustn't discount either Tom McNulty, the scorer of so many important goals for Dundalk. And that's McNulty from Hamilton in Scotland. Early in his career, he actually kept Mo Johnson out of a Partick Thistle team, but the family moved to Dundalk. Tom came with them, and his career has been in the League of Ireland. Shelbourne are without the influential Gary Howlett, who 10 years ago was playing in the FA Cup with Brighton and Hove Albion. Howlett with a stress fracture of the leg, unable to play. But Peter Coyle has recovered from a hamstring injury and takes his place at right back. And a late scare about Kevin Brady, who ricked his back in the final training session yesterday, proved to be no more than that. Brady is fit to play. Haylock and Dully will be the strikers, according to the caption, but I have had word that perhaps Ken O'Doherty will in fact start the game up front in a move that is designed to frustrate Dundalk and add to the confusion. Paul Doolan, cup winner with Portadown in the Irish League, and aiming now for success with Shelbourne, having won a league championship medal with them last season. Gary Haylock will partner Pádraig Dully. Dully from Athlone, 28 years of age, 20 goals this season he scored. The leader of the line. But as I say, there's an element of doubt here as to whether Haylock will begin the game in the midfield, offering support to the front two, who look like they could be Dully and O'Doherty. Ken O'Doherty, scorer of UCD's cup-winning goal in 1984. That's the scene then set. Lansdowne Road looking a picture for this, the 72nd FAI Cup final, which will be refereed by Oliver Cooney from Dublin, born in the county of Roscommon, not very far from Boyle. And this FAI Cup final completes the set of domestic honours for a man who began League of Ireland refereeing in 1979. He's assisted by Christy Byrne from Cork and Robbie Jemison from Dublin, and works as an advertising executive for the Sunday World. Shelbourne in red, Dundalk in their new strip this season of black and white halves, but still known to all and sundry as the Lily Whites. And the game is on. And immediately the ball is swept wide to the left from Mark Rutherford and is dispatched to touch by Richie Purdy. Plenty of noise from the Shelbourne fans now. Greg Costello to take the throw. O'Doherty, who has assumed that forward position as expected. Hanrahan cut out by Doolan. And knocked forward for Rutherford. Purdy alive to the danger and lets it roll for the goal kick. Paul Doolan, now 30 years of age. His 6th FAI Cup final. That's Alan O'Neill, civil servant in goal for Dundalk. Hanrahan waits, Brady rises with him. Gino Lawless. Whelan. Now Hanrahan. And a rather clumsy challenge by Kevin Brady. The first free kick of the FAI Cup final is Dundalk's. Peter Hanrahan has hit the net 3 times in the cup for Dundalk. Brady, the guilty party. Purdy takes the free kick, and in goes Evanston! And it's cleared away in the end by Whelan. And the first corner of the match is Dundalk's, and the first close call coming in front of Jody Byrne's goal. From the free kick, Purdy whipped it in, and there was the danger, and Evanston just couldn't make it ahead of Whelan. Corner bit quickly taken, and Dully is back to clear it. It's out, it's a throw to Dundalk. Martin Lawler for Wayne Cooney, and out it goes off Coyle. And it's Martin Lawler to hurl it long into the box. Coyle misjudged it. There's Whelan again, and clearing it away. So the pressure on Shelbourne at this early stage. Corner to Dundalk. And Wayne Cooney will take it. Struck deep to the back of the box. Up goes Call. There's Hanrahan. And in the end, easy enough for Jody Byrne. And all of that stemming from the free kick that came when Hanrahan was fouled by Kevin Brady. Encouraging noises from the stands, but that clearance has gone straight to Hanrahan. Terry Evanston holding off Doolan. Purdy and McNulty. And now it's Doolan. foul awarded against Tom McNulty, who actually gets his place in this final because a suspension that was to take effect has been put back till next season. Hanrahan, Gino Lawless in some room. Just catching Everston on the wrong foot. And O'Neill taking command. Up goes Irwin. And Haylock scampers after it, but is unable to keep it in. Dundalk's throw. A great noise coming from all around Lansdowne. A crowd that's maybe not as big as expected. Cooney with the cross, off Coyle, rebounding to Irwin. Now Lawler. Irwin, that's for Cooney. Just too much pace in the ball. And it'll be Shelbourne's throw. Lawless can claim it. But can claim it only by knocking it forward, and it's gone out for a goal kick to Shelbourne. And a large Shelbourne contingent in the main west stand at Lansdowne Road. Dundalk by and large occupying the other stand opposite the east stand. Forward by Costello, one by Call. Now it's Doolan. And Lawless battling with him. Costello dwelling on it, holding off McNulty, but then presenting it to Hanrahan. Offside against Terry Everston. And that attack ending with a whisker too far for Terry Everston. That's McNeville, Shelbourne's captain. And now the free kick can be taken. Up goes O'Doherty, cleared by Lawless. Peter Coyle and Irwin, and now Whelan. James Call underneath it. Onto it comes Haylock. Trying to slide one through for O'Doherty. The intention wasn't read, and it's through the safety with Alan O'Neill. Brady. Now Costello. Ronnie Murphy, and then Lawler forward. It's come to Hanrahan. And then Lawler's going in hard. Laid off by Irwin. Now it's Coyle, then Costello. One back by Brian Irwin. Everston. Good challenge by McNeville. O'Doherty then feeding Doolan. Dully was offside. Marginal but correct. Always so difficult for the front man to time his run and get it just right, but on that occasion the linesman Christy Byrne was spot on. It's flicked on by Irwin and behind for a goal kick to Shelbourne. Brian Irwin, who's really found his goal-scoring touch at Dundalk this season. 10 goals he's got, and he's their top scorer. O'Doherty couldn't quite control it. It's Gino Lawless. Everston. He's looking really sharp, Terry Everston, this afternoon. Now Lawler. Wayne Cooney. And Whelan has come to claim it for Shells. Too long for Doolan. Back again by Purdy. On by Everston. And Irwin's coming onto this. But Neville just beat him to it. Brady. Lawler. And now Ronnie Murphy. Shelbourne battle with the elements here. There's quite a stiff breeze blowing right to left into their faces. And obviously assisting Dundalk. One back by McNulty. Purdy. Then Irwin. Evanston again in chase, but Jody Byrne swiftly from his goal. And pulled out to Peter Coyle. Coyle playing it forward. James Call in the way, on by Lawless. Now Terry Evanston and Cooney. Gino Lawless, well read by Neville. Cleared away by Whelan. Dully. Turned Ronnie Murphy very well. O'Doherty going through the middle. Good challenge by Martin Lawler. And it's McNulty for Dundalk. A bright, open cup final so far. 9 minutes gone, no goals. Hanrahan against Brady. And that's a goal kick. Certainly does look the part. Lansdowne does it on a big day, and plenty here to enjoy the occasion. Well, the evidence of the breeze in that goal kick by Jody Byrne. Lawler then, won by Brady. Doolan. That's Evanston. Hanrahan. Irwin. Easy for Costello, but he's given it back to Dundalk. James Call, and the foot of Ken O'Doherty deemed to be too high. Free kick won by Call, and he's gone right up to take up an offensive position from this free kick, bearing in mind that the wind will be behind it. So Call, the big man, is there as Purdy hoists the free kick in his direction, and he got there but couldn't make anything of it. Costello clears. Then Lawless in on Rutherford. And Purdy once more. Dully made the challenge. The ball has gone out, and the throw is to Dundalk. Taken by Purdy. Brian Irwin. Lawless. Lawler offering support. Power in the shot, but not sufficient to discommode Jody Byrne. Well, he's the man who brought Dundalk into this cup final. Martin Lawler with the winner against Pats in the semi-final, but that was a firm header. This a firm shot that Jody Byrne had well covered. Irwin, Hanrahan. So keen were we to avoid being caught offside that there was no one far enough forward. Irwin against Coyle, and again Jody Byrne swiftly out to claim it. Probably the most local of the players here, lives just across the rooftops over in Ringsend. Evanston deemed to have handled it. Martin Lawler. Santo Whelan. Coyle retrieving it. That hamstring heavily strapped. O'Doherty beaten by Call. Dully couldn't control it. Doolan rebounding from Dully. Goal kick. Well, he did the right thing, came onto it, tried the snap shot, but unfortunately for him, Pádraig Dully was in the way, and it skidded up his teammates back and away for a goal kick. On by Hanrahan to Evanston. Richie Purdy. Hanrahan couldn't keep it in. by Dolly. Then it's O'Doherty. Away by Lawler. It's Whelan. And Brady. It's Everston making life uncomfortable for him. Kevin Brady puts it out, throws it to Dundalk. They certainly had the better of things in this opening quarter hour or so. A wasted throw. Goal kick, Shelbourne. Little push there, right under the nose of the referee by James Call, and it's given Shelbourne the free kick. Coming up to the quarter hour. No goals as yet. Neville with the free kick. Towards Haylock. Against Lawler. Cooney, who made sure Coyle didn't advance. Now it's Costello. And again Cooney in hard. It's Dully now against Call. And that was a push by Dully. Free kick to Dundalk. I think Athlone man has done well this season for Shelbourne. And he's got 2 of their goals in the cup on the way here. That was Everston. Couldn't quite control it. Brady. And his clearance has gone to Purdy. And now it's Doolan. Certainly Dundalk really hammering in with the challenges, giving Shelbourne no time at all to settle on the ball. Just the point is well made that in 3 of their 4 meetings this season, it's been Dundalk who've been victorious. Shelbourne have the throw, taken by Costello, won by Call, cleared by Purdy, then Everston, into space for Cooney. And that's swept wide for McNulty. What a good ball. McNulty against Brady, and Brady having to scamper to get it away. That was a splendid ball by Wayne Cooney for Tom McNulty. It's such an influence since he's come into this Dundalk team on the left side of midfield. Former Shamrock Rovers player. What about this for a cross-field pass to pick out McNulty, whose first touch maybe let him down a bit, but what a great ball. Pinpoint accurate. Dundalk have a throw from it. Shelbourne have cleared their lines through Neville. Lawless. Back again by James Call. And then Brian Irwin was backing into Peter Coyle. Sinner and the sinned against. The free kick to Shelbourne. O'Neill there to take it. He's the oldest man on the pitch by something like 15 days over Terry Everston, both of them with birthdays in July '57. Of course, the man with the birthday nearest to this date, Pat Byrne, who was 37 yesterday, the Shelbourne manager, hoping to get the best possible present today, but the Dundalk are doing their best to spoil his party. They spent most of this first half encamped in red territory. McNulty for Purdy again. Neville beating Irwin. Costello didn't quite connect. Here's Cooney. And then Rutherford. And Cole wins the throw in off Costello. Haylock. O'Doherty. Doolan. Oh, he sold Haylock short. Cooney won it back, and now it's Evanston. Cooney makes the run in the inside left position. Good interception by Neville. The idea was very good. It's now Doolan for Shelbourne. Won by Murphy. Throw to Shells. This is going to be one of the big duels of the afternoon, obviously. Dully against Murphy. Throw from Coyle for O'Doherty. Haylock. After it goes Dully, out of his goal comes O'Neill. And Lawler. Cool as a cucumber. Old head in a tricky situation. Well, he appeared to know what he was doing when the ball rebounded, making sure that O'Neill had his chance. But did that count as a back pass? Because if it was a back pass, it should have been a free kick to Shelbourne, shouldn't it? The goalkeeper handled it. Doolan. O'Doherty. In comes Rutherford, but Purdy got it away. And Hanrahan. Cooney after it. The ball first to the touchline. Now Coyle. 20 minutes gone. No goals in the FAI Cup final. O'Doherty. Costello. Dully outright. McNulty closing. That's for Dully. Dug out the cross, pulled a bit behind Costello. Gino Lawless to clear it to Hanrahan. It's meant for Irwin, and it's rebounded kindly for him. Irwin's shots, whistling across the face of the goal and away. Dundalk's top scorer seizing on the opportunity presented by the mishap suffered by Brady and Neville. The ball went forward, fortunate rebound. Neville's header rebounding from Brady. Irwin hammering after it and whacked it the only direction he could, goalwards, but it was just too wide. Hanrahan's long ball caused the problem. And Irwin with the shot that was just too wide of Jody Byrne's goal. And Shelbourne attempting to mount an attack. Gary Haylock. Dully furious with the fact that his control let him down. Lawless. Gino Lawless's head. McNeville's right foot. O'Doherty. Maybe Doolan was in a better position in that occasion. But they can do it again. Brady. Costello. Dully, offside again. Free kick to Dundalk. Yes, the playing of Ken O'Doherty alongside Pádraig Dully here was a gamble by Pat Byrne. But of course he has the option of withdrawing him into midfield if it's not working out and pushing Gary Haylock forward. Rutherford, of whom little has been seen so far. Oh, he's past Purdy, but just couldn't keep the ball in play. 21-year-old Brummie, he's the youngest man on the pitch, and this cup final so far has tended to pass him by. McNulty. Well, that was a good idea. But maybe Cooney wasn't going forward with sufficient pace to make the most of it. Former Shamrock Rovers left back in those days, but now Steve Staunton style, operating on the left side of midfield. Dully against Murphy. A missed kick by Murphy, but Lawless back to help out. Now it's Haylock. And that was behind. I think he made too much allowance for the breeze that didn't affect the cross in the end. He's had a good run in the cup, Gary Haylock, with goals against Glenmore, a hat-trick, and 2 including the winner against Derry in the semi-final. Won by Whelan. Here's Haylock again, trying to bring Rutherford into it. And Rutherford now facing Purdy. He just got a little, well, it seemed a little touch there from McNulty, but Ollie Cooney, the referee, was right there to see it and decided there was no malicious intent. Purdy into the left wing slot where Cooney has been in action. Coyle seeing it out of play. Throw to Shelbourne. And to Whelan. Cleared away by James Call. And onto it comes Brady. Rutherford. Brady again. Call. Now Purdy. Rutherford beginning to get more into this game, maybe feeling himself that it's been passing him by, and looking for more of the action. Doolan, offside. Christy Byrne, the linesman on this side, has been policing that offside line with great accuracy. Dully just mistiming his runs fractionally, getting in behind the defence. That was Cooney, and then it's Coyle. Cooney again. Bring it down and bring some order to it. Hanrahan couldn't control it. Costello, Doolan, Costello once more. And then O'Doherty, whose strength saw him through there. Again, the offside flag is up, but there was no advantage stopping the game. And Ollie Cooney played it on, and it's been, in the end, to Dundalk's advantage. We're back in Shelbourne territory with Lawler. Terry Everston. Goes Hanrahan. And it's Doolan against Lawless. Gino Lawless made a back for Paul Doolan. Doolan took a heavy tumble. And Oliver Cooney said free kick Shelbourne. Lawler, onto it comes Costello, and then Haylock, Cooney with him, and that is a goal kick or a corner. Goal kicks to the linesman. From this angle it looked like a corner, but Christy Byrne said goal kick. You can't really tell from whether it touched Wayne Cooney on the way or not. Gary Haylock felt it did. The linesman said no, so the goal kick results, and Shelbourne still await their first corner of the afternoon. The 28th minute of the FAI Harp Lager Cup final. Whelan. It's Costello, Doolan. Brady onto that clearance. Dully and Call bumping into each other. Broken for Irwin. Away by Brady. O'Neill has left his area. Brady once more. Then Rutherford. And now Dully. Rutherford again. And down he went. Off James Call. And the first card in the final. James Call for that foul on Mark Rutherford. So the first yellow card of the afternoon, and it's the Dundalk captain, James Call. And the free kick has been taken and headed away by McNulty. Now it's Peter Coyle. Coyle's head again. O'Doherty went up. Now it's Rutherford for Neville. And Rutherford once more. And a big cross. O'Doherty up. Missed kick by Lawler. Now he can't pick the ball up, as it was passed effectively by Martin Lawler. McNulty. And an interesting switch here. Mick Neville has gone to left back and Kevin Brady is playing centre half. Now that's gone out for the goal kick. Well, there's been a bit of a switch on in the Shelbourne rear guard, with Neville having had it pointed out that he was going at left back, has now decided to resume at centre half. Brady, Neville, but it's McNulty now for Dundalk. Oh, nice play by Rutherford. Doolan. For Dully, the pass too strong. Not even the gazelle like Porrick Dully could reach that. But it was a lovely sweet movement out of the defence by Shelbourne. Well, Doolan, the provider of the final pass, that was just too long for Porrick Dully. Little over half an hour gone. No goals. Just Cooney's challenge. He's having a fine game on the left of the Dundalk midfield, Wayne Cooney. And as you'd expect, not very much between these teams. Peter Coyle, the Shelbourne right back, receiving attention. As he cleared that ball, Cooney came in with the challenge. In fact, it appeared to be his hand that got the worst of it. And he's all right to resume. On by O'Doherty. Put out by Ronnie Murphy. And it's a throw to Shelbourne. Once more, Peter Coyle. Haylock. Doolan. Nice turn. McNulty with him, enforcing the error. Hanrahan misjudging that. Now it's Lawless. And he deceived Costello. And he's supported by Hanrahan. Oh, pulled down by Brady. I think Brady at full stretch there in that challenge as Hanrahan had flicked the ball past him. And Oliver Cooney has not produced the card, and I have to say I find that's absolutely right, because it was a 50-50 ball. Cooney, the referee, deciding that Brady had stretched to the full and was, as it were, not in control of pulling down Hanrahan, who was running at full tilt. That was how Oliver Cooney saw it. Enough for a foul, but not for a card. in the wall then for Shelbourne. Purdy runs over it. Here's Cooney. And Costello's shins have the desired effect. Rutherford. Gully on the run. Lawler, the trusty left foot. Throw to Shelbourne. Oh, and in goes Dully. Caught the Dundalk defence napping, but not Alan O'Neill. Flicked on, Dully at pace and a first-time volley, but not powerful enough to trouble O'Neill. And it's Costello for O'Doherty. Anto Whelan. Put up by Lawler, then Costello, now McNulty. And Martin Lawler once more. Brian Irwin, nobody there. It's won by Murphy and it's sailed out to throw to Shelbourne. O'Doherty, first touch let him down. Clearance by Murphy. Then it's Coyle. Lawler put under pressure by Dully. Dundalk throw. I don't think there's absolute concord between Mrs. Dully and Byrne, the linesman. By Evanston, but here's Whelan. Haylock has taken a knock. Lawler away. Brady onto it. Rutherford trying to turn Purdy and succeeding in getting past him. Kept his balance well. And got the cross in. O'Doherty up. Dully! You might have wished for more power in the shot. But it was Mark Rutherford who did very well wide on the left, skipping past Purdy, keeping his balance. And when it broke to Dully, he was swift with the shot, but not sufficiently powerful to trouble O'Neill. Great play by Mark Rutherford, coming more into this game and pouring Dully very nearly, giving Shelbourne a break. O'Doherty. Costello. Doolan. Coyle. Doolan's still there in support if he needs him. And that's for Paul Doolan. But again, the cross not sufficiently accurate. Shelbourne still battling to come to terms with the breeze in their faces, but making more of a fist of it as the first half has worn on. We're now in the 38th minute at Lansdowne Road. The 72nd FAI Cup final stands at Dundalk 0, Shelbourne 0. Little push by Whelan on Irwin. Brian Irwin, having won the free kick, is now on the 18-yard line. And it's Lawler. It's very close to Jody Byrne, too close in fact. Lawler. More a throw to Dundalk. Clearance was by Whelan. Now it's Gino Lawless. McNulty. Around Rutherford, it's Irwin now. Turning Rutherford for McNulty. No foul. Neville's challenge. Brady. And Dully, well, he beat the offside trap, but he didn't beat James Call. Then it's Costello. Now Murphy again. Forward for Brady. Rutherford. Still they can't get it away. Hanrahan. Brady chasing. Still Peter Hanrahan. This time Brady got it away, but Lawless has arrived. Rebounded from Costello, and now it's Doolan. Intercepted by Lawler at the expense of a throw. Coyle's throw for Haylock. Deceived them all. Hanrahan. Everston. And a free kick to Dundalk. 5 minutes to half time then. Still we await the first goal. It's Neville. Costello. Cleared eventually by Coyle, straight to Lawless. And now it's Haylock. Again flicking off the toe of Martin Lawler and out. Throw to Shelbourne. To the left for Peter Coyle. O'Doherty with a little flick. Dully. Headed out by Purdy. And now Rutherford retrieves. Lovely skill. Purdy with a very good tackle. Crisp and clean. Irwin for Lawless. Cooney out left. Facing Coyle. Lawler goes outside. Cooney goes for the cross. All the way across. Hanrahan. Rutherford with him. Good tackle by Mark Rutherford. Now Richie Purdy. Towards Irwin. Everston just couldn't connect. Whipped across the face of Jody Byrne's goal. And so close to getting the touch that might have troubled the keeper. That was Dully. It's gone out. It's a throw to Dundalk. Whipped in by Purdy. Irwin made a little touch. Everston just failed to connect. Meanwhile, Gary Haylock has brought down the self-same Terry Everston. Free kick to Dundalk. And Dundalk have pushed James Call forward once more. Brian Irwin's in there too. Lawler takes the free kick. And Jody Byrne happy to palm it away for a corner. Corner count as we approach the end of the first half. 3-0 in Dundalk's favour. Byrne backpedaling all the way, knocking it out. And Cooney takes the corner for Richie Purdy. They've wasted it. And it's McNulty, now Costello. Here's Cooney once more. Showed too much of it to Whelan, and now it's Doolan. And Rutherford, Dundalk scampering to get men back. Now the defence is regrouped. Paul Doolan. Brady. Costello. Brady again. Too long for O'Doherty. Goal kick. Flicked on by Hanrahan. Then it's Lawler. Brian Irwin. Purdy. Cooney kept it in, but it eventually spun out. Haylock takes the throw. Dully for Haylock again. And Murphy did what he had to do. And we're into the final minute of the first half. Shelbourne have the throw. Away from Lawless. Everston. Neville is there for Shelbourne. Murphy receiving from Call, having to put it out. So once more it's a Shelbourne throw as we move into stoppage time at the end of the first half. Gary Haylock, Peter Coyle's cross, Rutherford up, and then it's Lawless away. Whelan, that was a foul. Purdy. Offside flag has been raised against Terry Everston. Free kick from Neville. Almost a minute of added time has elapsed at the end of the first half. Haylock. Oh, he's got the legs of Murphy here. Pull back for Dully, but knocked away by Call. It's Cooney. Then McNulty and Lawless getting it away. Everston. Purdy. Hanrahan. Everston going through the middle. Had to check, and he's beaten the offside for Cooney. Irwin in the middle. Hit too long and put behind by Brady. A minute and a half of stoppage time gone at the end of a half in which neither trainer was on the pitch. And there is indeed time for no more. A half that's featured some bright open football. Pádraig Dully with the best opportunity for Shelbourne, but finding that he didn't have enough in his locker to trouble Alan O'Neill, while Terry Everston just ahead of him there, and the best of the opportunities for Dundalk. Corner count 4-0 in Dundalk's favour, reflecting the fact that they were playing with wind assistance in the first half. But as the drizzle begins to fall incessantly on Lansdowne Road, it's half-time, and it's Dundalk 0, Shelbourne 0.
Shelbourne at Lansdowne Road. Let's join our experts, Brian Kerr from St. Patrick's and Roy Coyle from Derry City, to have analysis of that first half. You made the point, watching the match go through, Brian, that Shelbourne could be well pleased. They're not playing well, and yet they're still in the game.
That's right. Dundalk have forced them into playing in a style I don't think they'd have wanted to. They've had to play a lot of long balls up to the front players, which suits Dundalk. They haven't got their wide players into the game, Rutherford and Haylock, who are particularly sharp, and yet in the later stages of the game they began to dominate, and I think they can feel happy that they will have a lot more of the ball in the second half. They've also had the best, most clear-cut chances in the match, which I think we're going to see later on.
Yeah. Do you think the omens look good for Shelbourne at this stage, Roy?
I think they'll be very happy, especially after the first 15-20 minutes, because certainly Dundalk bossed the game, but you know, they didn't get any reward from it. So I would say at this moment of time, Shelbourne will be coming out very, very happy. They're going into the championship definitely a happier team than Dundalk.
Okay, well, let's look at the opportunities that Dundalk had in that first half, and they had one after, in fact, 1 minute. Everston should have taken this one, Roy, shouldn't he?
Yes, it was a good free kick. I think
Santa Whelan got the clearance.
Yeah, I don't think it was a miss. It was a good ball in, a very hard ball to defend. It wasn't a miss at the point. I thought it was a great bit of defending. He did very well to get that away. Tremendous piece of defending.
Really?
Yes, it was. That was a first-class defensive role he had to do. But you know, there wasn't too many of those chances about the game. But as Brian said, certainly the best chances have fallen to Dully. for Shelbourne. He'll be very disappointed.
We look at these later, but let's look at how the game emerged, that first half developed. And one of the points that was very striking, I think, was the fact that Shelbourne didn't get into it quickly, Brian, and there was a very good reason for this, as you've isolated. Let's have a look at why, in your estimation.
That's right. I think there's a kick out from Jody Bourne. I think it's Gino Lawless wins it. Everton carries the gets the move on. Irwin has a little bit of a chance to get in. But if you see the next kick out again, when Jody picks this one up eventually, and he kicks it forward, I think McNulty wins the next one. And this is a sign of Dundalk's competitive nature. Their centre backs will do it for them in the second half. Watch this now. Again, Dundalk win the header. Everton sets up the move, gives them a little chance to lose a free kick. Whereas here's Dundalk's own kick out. I think Hanrahan wins the header in a wide position, gets the move going. And in the second half, that's going to be very important for Dundalk to try and win some possession from their own kick-outs.
Yeah. But it must be fairly evident, of course, to the manager that this was happening, and presumably they'll rectify it in the second half.
From Dundalk's point of view? Well, I think they'll have spotted it early on. Everson is a very good header of the ball with his back to the play. He's very good at controlling it in front of the centre halves, whereas Shelbourne, neither Dully or O'Doherty were particularly effective in that half. Dully got the two best chances, but there's a lack of mobility with them, and as Roy was saying during the game, I think Shelbourne would be much more effective with a pacier player up front, like Rutherford.
But they will, of course, have to beat the Dundalk cover, which was really very good, wasn't it?
Yes, we did say before the game, with the likes of Haylock Wade and Rutherford in particular, who's very, very pacey lad, that they were going to get cover coming on them. And you'll find that the ball does come out, and it's nobody in particular, they're just the nearest man's coming to him, leaving the full back or even one of the centre backs coming out, denying them down the line. And they've done it very well, because they've forced Shelbourne to play through the middle at Dundalk, where they're very, very strong, and consequently they haven't really hurt them at all.
Yeah.
But that certainly they've done a very, very effective job on their wide men. There's the cover. You see, the first man, he's not going to dive in. He's waiting for the other boy to come around too. And all they're saying,
1, 2, 3,
you're
four
not getting
players,
down the lane.
All his options are cut off, really.
So he's got to come back.
He ends up forcing them into playing the ball back to the defender. They play a high ball in, and James Call and Ronnie Murphy just gobbled that up so far. But in the second half, Dundalk are going to have an awful lot of that coming at them. But I've seen them doing it before. They'll soak up pressure and play on the break, and can be very, very dangerous.
Okay, now one of the people that you isolated in the first half, Roy, was, or before the game in fact, was McNulty. We have an example of him in play. Has he made the kind of a contribution that you thought he would make?
Not really, no, but he certainly made one of his tremendous runs. The other part of it too was the winning of the ball early on for Dundalk. I thought they were competing for it, but you see, they were getting the tackles and the winning ball. This here's a great ball by Cooney, right to the far right-hand side. I think that's the run we talk about. He's great at getting into the box. He'll be disappointed with his first touch. Just let him down at the very last minute. But those are the runs, and I have numerous occasions I've seen him make those runs, and he gets on the end of things and finishes them very well. That's the strength of Dundalk.
Okay, as you said, they had the chances. There was another chance that we're going to look at again now, and that's Irwin's chance. And this was a good one as well. He didn't take this out.
Yeah, he could have went on a little bit further as the move develops, when it does come up eventually. He had a little bit more time. Big ball forward there from Hanrahan. Come off, Mick Neville headed it off, hadn't he? But see there, he played a little bit early. He could have stayed on it another second, and Mick Neville would have had to make a tackle. It could have been a penalty kick, or he was in further for a shot. If you watch him breaking in there now into box, he's a little bit more time. He slows down, but he could have kept going on and taken the extra defender towards him. He may have picked out Terry Everson. I think he just shot a little bit too soon. No, he didn't get on target. That's the other problem.
All right, okay, we'll leave it there for the moment, take a commercial break, back with our panel afterwards. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, it's scoreless at Lansdowne Road in the Cup final. Dundalk and Shelbourne, no score apiece. Not, I think it's fair to say, Brian Kerr, a great first half.
No, there's been a lot of cancelling out all over the pitch. Maybe there's it comes from the league programme this year, where teams have played each other 4 times, and they know each other's strengths and weaknesses. But I think it will open up a bit in the second half as players become more tired and the tension goes out of it a little bit. I think the game will open up a bit more.
Okay, but that's not to say, of course, that there weren't opportunities for scoring. We're going to put together now a number of chances that Dully had, Roy. He really had 2 good chances here, I think, in this group.
Yes, there's no doubt about this. I think coming from the throw-in, Costello, he just sends it on. It's just to turn the back 4. He took it early, but he had no power in the shot, and he had no direction either.
Took it well, though, didn't he?
I thought it was poor finish. I did, honestly. Yeah, I thought he should have dealt with it better. His mates will be disappointed with that. So will Pat Byrne. It's
Well, what should he have done in that circumstance now?
I would have maybe just gone for a half volley.
Yeah.
Let it come down and bounce once.
Take it on the half volley.
You know, then you've got.
This is the little bit of time. One time he gets in behind people. It's a high ball. It's a very, very hard ball to get away because it's hanging. Again, there's no power, no direction. It's straight at the keeper. You know, they're two very, very good chances. This ball, it's a nightmare ball for the defender to get away because you can't get any power on it, and everybody's in there. It drops. He's got the yard he needs, but he hasn't got power or direction.
Down into the corner, awaiting the goalkeeper. It wasn't a good attempt.
Okie doke, we're going to have to leave it there for the time being, lads, and go back to Lansdowne Road to our commentator, George Hamilton.
Early touched the ball on the ground.
Okay. Well, they're obviously not quite ready to resume at Lansdowne Road, so let's talk to the lads here about the development of the second half. You were making the point, gentlemen, in the course of that first half discussion, that Shelbourne are really playing to Dundalk's strengths. Now, how do they change that, and how do they counter that? Roy?
I don't think they were playing their strength. I think they were made to play to their strength. The simple fact that with the wide men, they were getting the cover on, they weren't allowing them down the line, they weren't turning the back four of Dundalk. To me, one of the biggest problems Dundalk has, or Shelbourne have, is the O'Doherty and Dully, who are two good target men. But when you have a target man, you need a runner. And Haylock, who I think is a very, very pacey player, he likes to go through the middle, he likes to run. I would change it at half time. I'd have put Haylock through the middle, I'd have brought Bobby Brown on wide to see if he can get a bit of penetration in the wide area and through the middle, because they're not getting any pace through the middle.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if it happens. We've got a pictures back now from Lansdowne Road, and let's go straight to George Hamilton. Well, we're having some difficulty with our commentary line from Lansdowne Road, but we will continue with pictures for the moment.
Now Haylock. And the first corner to Shelbourne arrives at the very start of the second half. 37 seconds of it have elapsed. Ken O'Doherty up there. Mark Rutherford will take the corner. Or will he? Leaving it for Costello. Up goes O'Doherty. And that's a goal kick to Dundalk. The head then of Whelan, flicked on by Irwin, who took a knock at the back from Brady. In came Call, and that's deemed to be a foul for the challenge on Dully. That's played wide for Haylock, and the cross to Doolin. And that was a close call. Swept wide to Gary Haylock out on the right. And Doolin doing what he does so well, arriving late. Flick of the head, just wide of the upright. Dully setting it up. Haylock, and in went Doolin. Close one. Good cross from Gary Haylock. We have a throw to Shelbourne on the near side. Greg Costello for O'Doherty. A push from Call. The Glaswegian defender giving away another free kick. Haylock covers. Wheeling up, O'Doherty 2. Hoisted by Costello. And Dully reckoned his shirt was being pulled, but the referee didn't agree. The net result is a goal kick to Dundalk. Still persistent drizzle at Lansdowne on a grey and chilly afternoon. Doesn't seem like the middle of May at all. And Dully deemed to have fouled Ronnie Murphy. And Lawler takes the free kick. Scarcely what Dundalk intended. Throw to Shelbourne. Paul Doolan. Bounce past O'Doherty. Gino Lawless. And out once more. That's Brady, on by Haylock. O'Doherty. Brady. Cut out by Call. Then Everston, Irwin and McNulty. Hanrahan wants it to feet, that's where he's got it. Neville made the challenge. Oh, in came Purdy. Then it's cleared and returned once more by Call. But Doolan for Gary Haylock. He aimed to surprise the Dundalk defence, but I think he took himself by surprise with the direction that shot took. And it's a goal kick to Dundalk. Won by Neville, won that time by Call, then Hanrahan, and Irwin. Lawler. Irwin. Lawler continued his run. Good ball from Irwin. The cross found only Jody Byrne. O'Doherty fell in a heap, and it's come to Purdy, but Dully has dispossessed him. And then it's out off Peter Hanrahan for Shelbourne's throw. Foul by Call on Doolan. Now Rutherford steps over, leaving it for McNeville. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, how many times they must have practiced that, and they had to choose the cup final to get it wrong. Neville climbing all over Terry Everston and disputing the referee's decision. Earns a rebuke from Ollie Cooney, who has refereed this unobtrusively and well. Irwin, free kick. That's Lawler, meant for Evanston, couldn't keep it in. And Peter Coyle takes the throw. Haylock. On by Haylock again. Dully. Then it's Costello. The ball's not going to decide the issue, so James Call has to put it out. O'Doherty. Doolan. And Whelan. Turning McNulty, opting for the shot. O'Neill made sure he didn't let it spill. Worth a try from Anto Whelan. A long way out, but he made the angle for himself. He saw the target and he hit it spot on. Dipping in front of O'Neill and made a good save. Now it's Irwin for Evanston, and Whelan is back defending. And Whelan did his job well. Then Rutherford, off Purdy, out. Throw to Shelbourne. Well, the play held up while attention is summoned for Anto Whelan in action at both ends of the pitch. But now in need of assistance from Paddy Costello. Just to be sure, Brian Flood is sent from the bench to limber up in case he's required. But Whelan got a little tweak at the back, keep him from the fray. The game resumed with a throw to Shelbourne, which Kevin Brady will take. A little more rain falling than there was earlier on in the game, which might make for interesting ball control and balance. There's Lawless, now Lawler and Evanston. Coyle able to win it back. Then Lawless once more, and well intercepted, finding McNulty. And here's Tom McNulty and Irwin and McNulty. Oh, and he just couldn't get hold of the shot. Good build-up by Dundalk, and the expectation mounted as McNulty homed in on goal. Shelbourne respond in kind. Mark Rutherford facing Purdy. Brady. Headed away by Murphy. Doolan for Coyle. And Costello on the run, but skidding across the greasy top surface. The ball crosses the goal line, and that's a goal kick. Tom McNulty has scored some crucial goals. Indeed, he scored the goal that sent the league into the playoffs. And he did well here. Sharp interchange of passes with Brian Irwin, and then turning around Coyle to get the shot in, but there was no power in it. Irwin for Evanston. Cooney. Another fine ball from Wayne Cooney to pick out Peter Hanrahan. Hanrahan against Brady. Ball had gone for a goal kick. Peter Hanrahan, having struggled through the first 57 minutes of this match to impose himself upon it. There's Rutherford. Costello. And a foul committed by Ronnie Murphy. Corrick Dully brought down. Free kick to Shelbourne. Centre half Whelan goes forward. Ken O'Doherty in there too. Mick Neville will take the free kick. And another poor free kick from Mick Neville. Be the first to acknowledge it. That's not the first one he's wasted. Now, Haylock. And seen back to O'Neill by James Call. Lawler. Won by Neville. Irwin. And now Wayne Cooney. Good cross by Cooney. And put behind by Kevin Brady. Taking no chances. Good play by Cooney. Good deep cross. And left Brady with precious little option but to get rid of it. And it's Cooney who's cutted across to take the corner. To the very back, Lawler. Cleared by Neville. And Rutherford. Doolan. Oh, lovely ball. Rutherford on for Coyle. Shelbourne taking the fight to Dundalk, who are struggling now to get men back. Oh, Costello! And Greg Costello gets the goal that puts Shelbourne in front. 14 minutes of the second half gone, and the Dundalk attack turns into desperate defence, and they've no answer to the arrival of Costello. Super build-up, and then clipped in for Costello to get away from his marker and head the goal. 14 minutes of the second half gone, and Costello gets the breakthrough. Dundalk 0, Shelbourne 1. Sensational goal, a classic counter-attack. Dundalk's defence unbalanced. They'd met up for the corner. They were always struggling to get back. And the goal on the counter-attack has given their side the lead. A lovely cross, and there were men over. Dundalk unhinged by their commitment to attack Wayne Cooney's corner. Shelbourne broke out swiftly, and credit to Mark Rutherford, who was the only Shelbourne player forward. He was in the centre circle when the ball was cleared, and he held it up till men arrived. And then Doolan played a lovely little ball. The attack swept out to the right. Shelbourne charged forward. Dundalk struggled to get men back, and there were too many red shirts in the area when the cross came in. One of them filled by Greg Costello, and that is how Shelbourne got their goal. Haylock. O'Doherty. Dully. And then Coyle. And he has had a stunning match, Greg Costello, and he's crowned it with a rare goal. He scored just 4 this season. That's his first cup goal. And how important it could turn out to be. Costello is just 23 years of age, but he has a CV in footballing terms that's most impressive. 5 years in England with Queen's Park Rangers and Swindon Town, but joined Shelbourne at the beginning of 1991, and he has matured through this season to become a major influence for them. And he scored the goal in the cup final that has put Shelbourne in front. Well, no wonder their flags are flying. Ken O'Doherty, provider of the cross that was so expertly dispatched by Costello. And here's the free kick from Neville. Pushing by O'Doherty on this occasion. Free kick to Dundalk. And Alan O'Neill and the Dundalk defence stunned by that. And that really was most un-Dundalk-like defending. They're known as one of the meanest defences in the league, but they had committed themselves to attack, and they didn't reckon on the counter from Shelbourne. And O'Neill knew what he was doing. Dully was very close to it. But what a part he played in that goal. Really not thought of as a target man, but he certainly played like a good old-fashioned centre forward, holding it up and giving Shelbourne the chance to deliver the rapier thrust. Meanwhile, Doolan has a go. Oh, it's going wide. Went Haylock, the ball rebounding from Cooney. Doolan seized on it, but he really was unable to get it onto the goal. And Doolan back in aerial combat. The variation of the song that we hear on international days here, it's Come On the Boys in Red. They played the better football, even though they were under pressure in the first half. And they've been rewarded with the goal. Now Cooney for Dundalk. And the shot that tested Byrne all right, but he was perfectly positioned to deal with it. Cooney took the responsibility on himself, and he hit the target with a shot, but Jody Byrne had it perfectly covered. Free kick. Dundalk. Now, Dundalk have learned their lesson. They've left both centre halves back. Free kick taken by Cooney. Evanston. That was Haylock, but he's given it now to Hanrahan. Against Coyle. Hanrahan's cross. Evanston just not tall enough. He did everything right, except make the connection. Well, Doolan and Dully on the run. O'Neill's left his area and has put it to safety. Well, Hanrahan did very well here. A lovely little clipped cross, and Evanston just couldn't rise high enough. Frustration for Terry Evanston and for Peter Hanrahan. Rutherford. Corner is the decision. Midway through the second half, and Shelbourne lead Dundalk by that precious goal. Costello to take the corner. O'Doherty rising, headed away by Cooney, and it's out off Evanston for another corner. He's coming more into it now, Ken O'Doherty. Anto Whelan, the centre half, is forward to add his height to the proceedings. Right-sided corner, so Mark Rutherford will be the one to take it. Again, O'Doherty going to rise, but Purdy the winner. Sent wide again by Costello. Rutherford's cross. Dully. All arms and legs, but he kept control. Coyle. O'Doherty. Dully again, and Costello. Why not, indeed? Why not have a go? The ball broke for him from Dully. Sensible option, have a go. But it whistled wide. Whelan, then Costello. Now McNulty. Evanston. Lawler. Doolan. And Gary Haylock. Doherty. It's come to Irwin. Gino Lawless. Cleared away by Coyle. And it's gone for the throw. And the throw is Dundalk's. Played wide then for Richie Purdy. Brian Irwin. Hanrahan. Call. Headed out by Coyle. In went Irwin, cleared by Whelan. Then Lawless for Lawler. Cooney. Another powerful shot, but the accuracy lacking this time. Firm shot, but not accurate enough to trouble Jody Byrne. So the game will be held up while Shelbourne make a substitution, and the man they're taking off is Ken O'Doherty. Well, he struggled to make an impact in the game, and he goes off, and Bobby Brown goes on. Product of Bluebell United, Bobby Brown, now 30 years of age, but a key player for Shelbourne in the league season. And that means that Gary Haylock can move forward to partner Pádraig Dully. Substitution coming in the 72nd minute. Haylock and Dully, 40 goals between them this season. But Haylock deployed in midfield while O'Doherty was up front. Now Pat Byrne has decided to put on a specialist midfielder in the person of Bobby Brown and let Haylock go forward and try and secure this cup. And that's Brown in action. The ball hoisted forward where Neville is able to clear it. Hanrahan's cross, good cross too. Byrne got the fist to it. Doolan away. Then Call goes in, and now Bobby Brown once more, who's seeing a lot of the ball. Industrious little player into the anchor role in midfield, alongside Costello. And here's Hanrahan, keeping the control well, and round McNeville's challenge. Will show too much of it to Rutherford. Throw is to Dundalk. now where Dundalk are in serious need of some sustained pressure on Jody Byrne's goal. Find it difficult to prise open the Shelbourne defence. Well, there was that opportunity when Hanrahan's cross just missed the forehead of Evanston. They want Wayne Cooney to hurry up with the throw. Doolan. And once more it's a throw to Dundalk. Richie Purdy for Lawless. Straight to Doolan. Offside flag is up. Dundalk offside trap played to perfection. Just a matter of a yard inside the Dundalk half. Now, Cooney. Lawless cross blocked by Brown. And cleared away by Peter Croyle. Wayne Cooney. And whistle sounds for an offside there. And there's the crowd, the Dundalk section thereof. 11,000 people paid in to see this cup final, which has to be said is a disappointment. They were expecting at least 15. And now 15 minutes to go. Dundalk with the task in hand of trying to get back into this cup final. McNulty. Cooney. And out by Neville. "15 minutes for Dundalk to retrieve the situation." Costello intercepting. Miss kick by Murphy. Call to his rescue. Evanston. McNeville's in control of that situation. Cooney, nicely played, but struck too deep the cross. And the rain falling pretty heavily now, giving added pace to the ball as it hits the turf. Well, that's come for Dully. And Corey Dully homing in on goal. That could have made the cup secure, and he knows it. Haylock's persistence set him free. He tried to side-foot it past O'Neill, who had his angles covered well. That was Haylock in to make it difficult for Call, and Dully at pace ran onto it. Might have done better than that. 1-0 it stays. McNulty, won back by Brown, who's certainly made a difference since he's come on. But the pass was just too long. Bobby Brown, who's the longest serving member of the Shelbourne squad, and is a real favourite with the fans at Salka Park. Offside against Costello. Well, he'll be the latest Shelbourne hero if things stay the way they are until the finish. First goal in 3 months. What a place to score it. Brian Irwin. Now Cooney. Looking for Hanrahan. It was cut out by Neville. That was great defence by McNeville. Now it's Lawler on the ball for Dundalk. And all coming to nothing. Rutherford. And that's for Haylock. Covering his call. Frustrating for Dundalk when it's in there. They can do nothing with it. Doolan. Rutherford again. Purdy wins it back. Now Hanrahan. Brian Irwin. Showed too much of it to Costello. Great strength to get away from that challenge. What a great game, Greg Costello. What a good ball. Dully. In the middle is Doolan. There's Dully's cross. Doolan! Again, just fractionally too high. But here's another one. Call and Lawless away. Costello once more. Rutherford's cross this time. Up goes Dully. No power in the header. And Dundalk begin again as Dully picks himself up. Cooney. And return from Lawler to Cooney. Hanrahan against Rutherford, but again the slippery top surface, the ball always the likely winner. What a fabulous ball that was from Costello to begin this. Dully's cross, and Doolan rose, but just, I think, fractionally mistimed the jump. And Dundalk meanwhile are about to make their substitution. Alan Doherty going on, and Terry Everston coming off 11 minutes from the end. Alan Doherty has made infrequent appearances in the Dundalk first team this season. And takes the place of Terry Everston. There's a good cross for Call, and Byrne under his crossbar has to make the catch. Struck in by Purdy. Call got up to get the header in, but it was a big looping header that Byrne was able to deal with some ease. Dundalk meanwhile have won the throw. In fact, he's awarded a free kick for Haylock's challenge on Purdy. Gino Lawless. Then it's Bobby Brown. Irwin bringing Lawler into it. Lawler's cross, Neville away. And some stout defending by McNeville. And that was another important interception. Here's the corner. Wasted opportunity. Doolan. And a chance for another quick breakout by Shelbourne. Kevin Brady. Rutherford through the middle. Dully way out right. But Brady showed much too much of that to Richie Purdy. He made a good challenge and the attack ended. And it resumes with a throw to Shelbourne. Rutherford. Free kick. There are now just over 8 minutes to go. 8 minutes for Dundalk to salvage the FAI Cup. 8 minutes for Shelbourne to complete the first leg of a possible double. Costello. Rutherford. He's still there. Rutherford's cross. Side net. He's had a good game, the young Brummie. He's 21. He and Haylock, the two full-time professionals in the Shelbourne team. A rugged performance from Anto Whelan. Again, it was Mick Neville there to prevent the little wall pass. Guy Rutherford. Haylock's on the run. Trying to hold off Murphy, and he succeeded. Gary Haylock, Dully in the middle. Haylock. Wrong option. And he acknowledges that he could have put Pádraig Dully in to wrap it up. He did so well to hold off Murphy. And Dully was free in the middle. His call was committed. The little ball would have been the better option, but he went for the shot, went for the glory. I got nothing. But this was determination writ large. Great performance by Haylock, but not a great finish. At the other end, it's Cooney with the cross, and Hanrahan! And he just couldn't bring it under control. Oh dear, oh dear. Cooney with a fine cross, and here's Hanrahan as the defender slipped, but he couldn't control it. James Call, Gino Lawless, and then Coyle, Dully, there's Purdy, Brady, Rutherford, now Lawless. Martin Lawler. Brian Irwin. Good challenge by Anto Whelan. And no offside. Gary Haylock. Dully and Brown in the middle. Haylock. And Dully just couldn't get there. So tantalizingly across the face of the goal. And Dully has injured himself in going in for that. Such pace from Haylock. Pulled across at pace, and he went through there, Dully, and ended up in a heap in the back of the net. Just 5 minutes to go. This is a great burst by Haylock, who beat the offside trap. And Dully was just caught by Purdy's flailing boot, quite accidentally, as he went through. So another little job for Paddy Costello. And Ronnie Murphy comes off as Dundalk prepare to make their second substitution and send in Mick Shelley, vastly experienced campaigner, for the last 4 minutes of this game. Murphy's off, Shelley isn't yet on, and Dundalk are playing with 10 men. Cleared by Neville. Now it's Bobby Brown, and again, no offside, because Dully was inside his own half. Dully's cross, Haylock, and Purdy was there to prevent him getting the goal. Doolan with the cross this time. Up goes Dully, headed away by Call. But the whistle is gone. The ball, I think, was out. And Shelbourne really have taken command. Well, it wasn't so much that the ball had gone out of play, it was that there was an earlier offside. And that gives Dundalk the opportunity to send on Mick Shelley. Won the double with Dundalk in '88, but it looks like Paul Doolan is on course for a double with Shelbourne. And he's been named man of the match by the soccer writers here this afternoon. Influential part of Shelbourne's cup final performance. Doolan, the man of the match, with a clearance. Back again it goes by James Call. Hooped away by Anto Whelan. And out of play for a throw to Dundalk. Well, the men in the press box saw it as Paul Doolan, but from this angle it certainly looked like Greg Costello was the most influential of Shelbourne's players, but we'll leave that for the post-match discussions. The fact remains, he got the goal. What's the difference between the sides with just over 2 minutes remaining? Doolan. And here's Brady to clear it. And Doherty caught him after the ball had gone. Kevin Brady now 2 minutes away from an outstanding cup final record. 5 appearances, almost 5 victories. Cleared this time by Doolan. And it's now beginning to look as if 30 years is a significant anniversary for Shelbourne. Last season, 30 years after their previous league championship, they won the title. Now, 30 years after their previous FAI Cup success, they're within 75 seconds of a famous victory. That's a foul, though, by McNeville, and a free kick to Dundalk. And perhaps Dundalk's last opportunity into the final minute of normal time. Shelbourne lead Dundalk by 1-0. Shell's last stand, is it? They want to get this right, Dundalk. Lawler and Cooney together. Lawler hoists it, and it's gone. And with that, may well have evaporated Dundalk's last chance. And another winner's medal for Martin Lawler and his teammates. It's a goal kick to Shelbourne. It's 5 seconds to the end of the 90 minutes. Well, the Dundalk took long enough to take their free kick. They can hardly accuse Jody Byrne of wasting time with a goal kick. Flicked on by Rutherford. Dully is after it. Cleared by James Call, and it's a throw to Shelbourne. And we're now in stoppage time at the end of the 1993 FAI Harp Lager Cup final. And Shelbourne are on the offensive. Porrig Dully takes up station in the centre of the penalty box. Mark Rutherford takes the throw to Gary Haylock. Rutherford again. The old tactic, keep it in the corner, keep it away from Dundalk, but they haven't succeeded in that, and Shelley clears it. Won by Neville, though. In goes Costello. Now Bobby Brown, well played, Doolan, and Brown continues his run, and O'Neill has left his goal, but that's a goal kick. And it's a minute of stoppage time that's already been played. But the trainer, the Shelbourne trainer in particular, has been on, but that's enough. The whistle sounds after a minute and 9 seconds of added time. And after a 30-year wait, Shelbourne have once again won the FAI Cup. And Greg Costello is the man of the moment, the man who scored the final's only goal in the 60th minute. A Shelbourne counter-attack, and Costello was the extra man to head to the net and get the only goal, the decisive goal, and the goal that wins Shelbourne the FAI Cup for the 4th time in their history, and puts them in a position in this protracted season to complete a cup and league double, with 2 playoff matches still to come in the league. They're very much in contention, and they're right back in Europe, guaranteed at the very least a place in the European Cup Winners' Cup. Greg Costello, the man of the moment. Fred Davis, their former goalkeeper, now in the coaching staff, savouring the moment with the veteran Anto Whelan. But everybody has congratulations for Greg Costello. And in the background there, Gary Howlett, the man who couldn't play because of the stress fracture to the leg. There to join in the congratulations and the celebrations as Shelbourne celebrate their famous victory. They've won the FAI Cup. Final score at Lansdowne Road is Dundalk 0, Shelbourne 1.
I think it's fair to say, as we go to the panel, Roy, that you can't really lay off for a month and expect to be match fit at the end of the day.
No, we said that before the programme. For to have 4 weeks off and to come and prepare for a cup final, that's no preparation at all. Not just not having games, but the mental preparation had to be none for Dundalk, and certainly it showed today.
Yeah, okay. Well, they looked pretty tired at certain stages. Certainly, I think it's fair to say that their defence was poor in that goal, the Dundalk defence. Let's have a look at that goal now and talk us through that one, Brian. They were, yeah.
Here's Dundalk on the attack. The move was broken. Good header from Mick Neville. Dundalk have pushed a lot of players forward at this point. It was remarkable how scarce they were when Shelbourne did break away.
They end up getting a corner kick from that. It's the marking after this, if you watch. I think when the ball gets cleared out, it goes up to Rutherford, who does very well. But the marking for Dundalk.
There's one long kick from Mick Neville. You see here, Rutherford sets her up.
He did well there, didn't he?
Yeah, he laid her up, but Shells are breaking quickly. Look at the space on the left-hand side of Dundalk's defence. Martin All only getting back now.
When you see this ball coming out, you can freeze it. You'll see.
Can we stop it there?
If you go back a little bit, there's 4 people. There's McNulty. If you keep going back,
yeah,
I think there's
right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people doing absolutely nothing.
Nobody's near the player. Nobody's marking the player. And the 2 Dundalk players that are actually in the 6-yard box are back too near to their own goalkeeper. The 3 Shelbourne players are right in the 6-yard box.
Okay, well, let him run and we'll see what happens.
See.
Yeah.
See him there.
Hold it again now. Oh. Back this ball a bit. Right.
You see in that instant there, the 2 Dundalk players are right back in on top of their own goalkeeper. They should have been pushed out further.
Okay, a goal that they'll feel very sorry for. Let's go back now for the presentation to George Hamilton.
There's the Shelbourne captain, Mick Neville, about to receive from FAI President Michael Hyland the FAI Cup. It's Shelbourne's Cup after a 30-year wait. And well, they deserved it. Mick Neville, a loser in '84 with Rovers. He won it on 4 occasions. That's Mick Neville's 5th FAI Cup winner's medal. Jody Byrne, the goalkeeper, another veteran, his 4th winner's medal. And along the line it goes. Shelbourne, a team of considerable experience, led by a man of considerable experience, Mick Neville. And they all played their part. Bobby Brown, ever popular. Anto Whelan, a loser in '84 but a winner in '93. Peter Coyle and Mark Rutherford, who played such an important part. Paul Doolan, 4th winner's medal here to add to the one he won with Portadown. Greg Costello, whose goal won the cup. Brian Flood, the substitute, who didn't get on, but he's the man of the moment as far as Shelbourne are concerned. Greg Costello. And it's Shelbourne's Cup. They can unfurl the banners now. And the king of the FAI Cup, Jim McLaughlin, now the general manager of Shelbourne, along with Fred Davis, their former goalkeeper, key backroom staff. How hard they've worked for this success. And don't forget, they're still in with a shout of the league. Within a fortnight, they could be the doubles holders. Pat Byrne, the manager, 37 yesterday. He could party all night. A magnificent performance. I should think the drinks are on Pat with the ladies. There they are, Pat Byrne, Jim McLaughlin have engineered this success with a goal by Greg Costello. For the first time in 30 years, the FAI Cup belongs to Shelbourne.